Take this conversation forward. We're now joined by Adv Johnson, who is from Public Interest South Africa. Adv, thank you so much for your time. Now, Johnson says the attacks against her over the past 5 months have been unprecedented. Now, that's what she says, and have taken a personal and professional toll. It seems as though she's alluding to the idea that she's a victim of a coordinated campaign. Now, are these the inevitable consequences of serious allegations against a public office bearer?
Thank you for that question, Lopam. Before I address it directly, let me say we welcome the decision by Advocate Johnson to tender her resignation with immediate effect, which only the President can ratify. And having said that, let us also be mindful of the fact that this is not a decision that she would have taken very lightly, but it is a decision, notwithstanding that she had no choice but to take, because of what was laying ahead of her or in front of her. You would recall just over a week ago, the Minister of Justice and the NDPP had a meeting whereupon they must have shared with her what options lay ahead of her and how difficult a road ahead she must prepare herself. I would imagine that she took a week to synthesize what the possibilities are and the cost of any idea of sitting it out, because we have no doubt that there would have been a tribunal or a board of inquiry established by the President to inquire into her fitness to hold office. So having said that, we welcome that. But her casting of her resignation, some of the words matter, and the casting of her or characterization of a resignation letter using words like attack on her. Those are not new words. We've seen them seeping through some of the newspaper mainstream media houses, notably one that has stood out in her defense throughout, whereupon they were casting anybody who was calling her and IDAC to account, actually to be attacking IDAC as well as attacking the NPA. Those words were leveled against public interest, and myself personally, that's a fact, it's a public knowledge. So for her in her resignation letter, instead of showing humility, instead of showing contrition, she still talked about being attacked when all we were asking for was accountability and for her to take stock of what she has done, which things she's already admitted before Madlanga, amongst many other things that she still need to admit to. So having said that,
Now, speaking of Madlanga, I just want to move forward with this one. Now, she argued that South Africa cannot afford another commission of inquiry, and she instead asked to be released from office immediately, right? Now, is resignation enough, or should there still be a full investigation to establish accountability, the accountability that you speak of, for the allegations that were raised before the commission?
Yeah, her resignation doesn't eviscerate her need to appear before Madlanga Commission. She still has got an obligation to appear whether or not she's resigned. And secondly, it doesn't take away the fact that she has to still go to account to the Legal Practice Council, where we've lodged a complaint seeking to have her disbarred as an advocate of the High Court because of her conduct, especially where it bordered on criminality. So it doesn't. So we need her evidence to make sure she clears the air and also give more information to the commission, which is more a fact-finding investigation. So she still has to account. It doesn't mean that it's the end of it. And there's also other a forum that she still has to appear for criminal matters that may still be preferred against.
Yes. Now, Adv, if the President accepts this request to leave office, what message does that send about the government's handling of allegations against senior anti-corruption officials, rather? Now, does it strengthen accountability, or perhaps does it raise more questions about oversight?
It does both. It does strengthen accountability, but at the same time, we are concerned that our representations that we first made to the Department of Justice and the NPA in December last year, on the 15th of December, took more than 7 months for them to actually yield to a decision, to a situation where she now tenders to resign. In this circumstance, no action was done. We do also must cut some slack to the NPA, because at the time it was transition. Then outgoing Advocate Batoy didn't do much about it, but now we know why she may not have been inclined to act against Advocate Andrea, because of the seemingly the close relationship that they may have had.
Now, Tebogo, public confidence, and specifically in IDAC, it's really been shaken by these allegations. Now, beyond Johnson's possible resignation, what reforms do you believe are necessary to basically restore the credibility and independence of the institution itself?
Yeah, Johnson is just the face of IDAC. Her removal, yes, she had the power, but her removal does not necessarily cleanse IDAC of what is afflicting IDAC. We've got investigators who have done wrong things, who have wronged the likes of Brigadier Dineo Mukwege, who are continuously fabricating matters or cases before courts in circumstances where they actually keep their eyes and focus away from real matters that need their attention and resources. Yeah. And you ask yourself, even if Johnson is gone, if you still have a head of investigation who doesn't seem to want to move in matters that we have put before him, you ask yourself, and many other instances where you've got the Colonel Padayachu appeared before Madlanga himself, who himself was left wanting. IDAC, yeah. We need a reset of IDAC.
Tebogo, thank you so much for your time. Quite an insightful conversation there. Tebogo Khasbe from Public Interest South Africa, taking us through some of his opinion on the possible resignation of Advocate Andrea Johnson.